Greetings, exalted ones.
Being the best takes a lot out of a man.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Darthmore516, and in today's video I'm doing a Han Solo hero guide. This is something a few of you have requested as soon as you saw my Yoda guide, and since you guys have seen me I play a lot of Han Solo, so I figured I'd do this for you, especially since Han is one of my go-to heroes, the HPV modes. So, before I jump into any sophisticated suggestions, let me quickly go over the abilities for you, for any new players. Okay, so we're L1 here, we have the detonite charge, which is basically Han throwing like a sticky charge, which is detonated whenever you want. So you throw it wherever you want it to go, and then you detonate it, like you press the button again to detonate it, which is really handy, knocking people over, getting a quick edge. Sharp shot is basically, for a short period of time, Han can fire his DL-44 faster. And finally on the R1 we've got the shoulder charge, which he basically leans forward, knocking anyone over when he hits them, which is what I did right at the start there. So those are the abilities Han has. As you can see here, his base health is at 650, which is pretty decent for all the blaster heroes in this game. So what you guys really want to know with Han is that sorry, I was just too focused on all those people that died. So what you really want with Han is to firstly always aim for the head. I know I said that before in different heroes, but Han's DL-44 does so much damage, and when you're in a tight spot or just shooting normally, you can really help defeat the enemy villains faster. It's very handy. So that's definitely something you definitely want to do with Han Solo. As you guys have already seen through me just mucking around here, headshots just annihilate people. So that's one of the first things that I recommend you do with Han Solo. Secondly is if you want to use his sharpshooter, only do so when you have either decent cover where you can get a shot off, or you have some space between you and other villains. Don't do it when you're right up close, because that usually doesn't tend to end very well. So I wouldn't recommend doing it up close there. So this isn't too bad a spot because I have a little bit of space, and plus I've got a tiny bit of cover. But for anyone who's new, obviously you just saw how the rapid fire worked there, so make sure you make use of it when you feel free to. But one thing I really want to emphasize in regards to Han Solo is his shoulder charge. Unfortunately, I do not see enough people using it. I don't know if it's because they don't know how to use it, or they just feel it's useless. It's actually not useless. If you've watched my gameplays enough on the channel, you'll see that I use the shoulder charge way more than the sharpshooter personally. So obviously what it's capable of doing is, obviously you can run for a while, so I'll just run for a while. See how far I ran just then, just knocking him over. You can run quite a fair way when using Han Solo, doing the shoulder charge. And obviously there is a bit of maneuvering involved, when you have to basically just move the stick wherever you need it to run. It does take practice, but once you get used to it, it should be pretty easy for you to use. Look, personally, I think it's really great. It's something, if you want to become a really good Han Solo player, the shoulder charge is something you really need to master.
Charge in position.
So anyway, as I said, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use. It's really good if someone's getting like spammed by like a lightsaber villain or something like that. That's when it's a really good time to utilize it. So let's say that heavy trooper's Vader here and he's spamming someone, and you just go after him. You'll knock them as long as they're not blocking. It'll give you a little edge, which will, I think, really help someone when they're in trouble. If you're lucky enough, you'll be out, if you're close enough to this, the edge of the map, you can knock someone over, which I've done several times. There are some of my tweets where I show a few of those off, but I do have a Han Solo arcade challenge that I recorded before this, where at the end of it I'll show you some shoulder charging people off the map for you guys to see. Just so you guys get used, see what it's like in HVV. It's a really good thing to use. It's also good for anyone to use when you're like trying to flee from trouble as well. But I primarily use it to actually go after people. Now Han Solo is one of those people where, because of his high damage output with his gun, his detonite charge, and his aggressive shoulder charge, you can actually play really aggressive with him if you really want to. So look, if you've seen a lot of my gameplay, I tend to, I don't charge him recklessly, but I make calculated strikes, and I always aim for the head and charge him whenever I feel I can. Look, and the beauty is, if you master the shoulder charge and you knock someone out, people, a lot of enemies really don't expect it. So it really catches them off guard when you knock them over. And when that happens, you'll get an opportunity to get a few quick shots off. And if you aim for the head, you'll really do some serious damage. Especially when you're versing someone like Palpatine, Vader, Iden, or any of those type of people who can really take you out really fast. They'll be like, wow, how'd they lose all that health so fast? So that's a way you can play. Or you can play a bit more passively, shooting from a distance while your lightsaber heroes or Chewie, lots of those people are doing the up close work. You know, so you can use the sharp shot from a distance. With the detonite charge, you can throw it anywhere to, pardon me, to catch them off guard. So that's the way to go. But I might quickly take a look at the star cards in a second. I just feel like shoulder charging someone else in a second, or I can't beat people. But one thing obviously to note is that even though Han has high damage output, when it comes to being spammed by lightsaber villains like Vader and Maul, etc., you can obviously take damage very quickly if you don't know how to evade. So ensuring you time your rolls is another necessity for Han Solo. And when you're in a tight spot, as I've said, always aim for the head when you get a chance to counter after rolling. That's something you really need to do. Now in terms of Han Solo star cards, I use the, I don't remember off the top of my head actually, which is a little embarrassing, but I'll know when I see them, so... but I will show you guys in a second. I'll go over some Galactic Assault points real quick for you. As opposed to being aggressive in HVV, if you really choose to, Han Solo needs to be a little more... You need to be a little more patient with Han Solo in Galactic Assault. As you know, there are a lot of things that can shoot you, or damage you, I mean, and Han Solo unfortunately doesn't have a health regen star card yet. So you're gonna have to be very calculated with how you maneuver around the map and kill infantry. So that's something to remember. Obviously, what you'd want to do is find some good spots, stay in some cover, and get the headshots on infantry. So within 1 or 2 headshots, your target should basically be killed. So as you guys are seeing with my muck around gameplay here, that they do get taken out really quickly. So that's what you want to do. Use the detonite charge when you can, so ensure you time your throws really well and put it into good spots where you can possibly get a kill as best you can. Again, it's all about being patient, knowing when to push up and whatnot. He's not someone you'd want to push the objective with on your own, but using his detonite charge can help clear the way, so that's an option there. But again, don't push the objective on your own as Han Solo, because at the end of the day, he's going to need support. It's a bit like what I said in the Boba Fett video. If you can use him to help clear the way, get some kills on the enemy team, it's probably the way for you to go. I thought someone was there. Look, Han's a pretty basic one to do a guide for. I mean, he does good damage output. It's mainly just getting better with the shoulder charge is what I really wanted to make the most of from this video. Because if you, as I've said before, if you get a lot better at it, it'll change drastically how well you play as Han Solo.
Smile a little.
Because as I said before, the enemy team don't expect you to be able to shoulder charge people. I'll get one more kill, then I'll respawn. Okay, alright, so I'm going to quickly show the star cards for you guys now, before I make any other final points. Okay, so the 3 cards I use are Broad Shoulders. So since I shoulder charge a lot, I figured this would be good for me. Basically, he receives less damage when using it. Sharpshooter's Calm. Sharpshooter shots reduce less active time. So there's less reduction per shot, so I think that means you'll be able to fire more shots off. And the air burst, so since I detonate my detonite charge pretty quickly. So if it's before landing on anything, it does more damage. So if you're throwing it like near Vader's head and you detonate it, for example, you'll deal extra damage. So that's what I like. Some other cards. This one's not bad. If each headshot kill, Han will be able to fire his blast without overheating for a short period. I mean, if you get headshots in Galactic Assault, that's not a bad way to go. Head games, scoring 3 headshot hits in a row without hitting any other body part will reset a part of all Han Solo's ability recharge time. Okay, so for that one, you'd really want to make sure you get headshots, and obviously trust the fact that you can be very accurate with Han Solo. So for any new players, I wouldn't recommend that card too much. So this one reminds me of Iden's TL50, so basically less heat when firing. Considering Han does produce quite a lot of heat very quickly, that's not a bad way to go either. Especially when you don't really know how to use the shoulder charge yet, and you primarily use your blaster. That's not a bad way to go there. So obviously this one's simple. Each defeat with sharpshooter will extend its duration. Again, it all depends on how much you use the sharpshooter, but Galactic Assault, you're better off using it if you really like using it in that game mode, because you'll get more kills there. This one, unless you get a lot of kills with the shoulder charge, I wouldn't recommend it. Look, even though I shoulder charge a lot, you're not going to get many finishing blows. It's like Phasma's Staff Strike, I guess. You can get damage and stuff, but you won't always get the kill. So, out of all the cards that are here, I'd probably recommend the 3 that I've got, or the heavily modified blaster. I've seen people use that one a lot. Or you can use the Big Bang as well, if you prefer letting the detonite charge sit there for a bit. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. I am going to link some HOV gameplay in the description for you. I'll probably link several games, some of my better games, and then some recent ones for you. So hopefully that gives you an idea of my playstyle with Han and how you can use the shoulder charge, etc. That is going to do it for our guide today, though. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.
May the Force be with you, always.
The Sith are all powerful.